This is consistent with what aviation experts are saying about the reason why this was such a catastrophic event, is that there are pieces of the engine on the runway before or as the plane was taking off. And Brooke is correct that I just spoke with an aviation lawyer who did say that it is, I don't want to say common, but it is possible for a plane to take off with losing an engine.
Right.
What I just heard from that aviation expert, Lad Sanger, who's based in Texas, who I'm going to be putting together a package with him in a couple hours, is that probably the main issue here with this one is that, yes, they lost one engine under the wing, but as they were taking off, they also lost the second engine on the tail. Mm-hmm. And once that happened, the plane was tilted up at that point. And once they lost that second engine, it was no longer flyable. And the MD-11 is a modified version of a DC-10. I'm not trying to get too technical here, but the expert I spoke to said that there is a history of engines falling off of DC-10s. There is a history of engine issues with DC-10s. He pointed to one incident, American Airlines Flight 191 out of Chicago in 1979. Also, United Airlines Flight 232 in 1989 that were also catastrophic events involving a DC-10. And he felt that it is appropriate to group those together, DC-10 incidents and MD-11
Even
incidents.
though they're 50 years apart from what you're saying as far as those later crashes.
Yes. I mean, he said that anything after the 70s is considered modern aviation.
Really? Okay.
And it's appropriate to view those incidents together. And he said that now having 3 incidents with either a DC-10 or an MD-11 likely involving an engine problem and 3 catastrophic events, he said that is, we should take note of that. He did not believe that the MD-11 should be grounded nationwide. He did not suggest that.
Dan Mann with the Airport Authority told us 16% of their total flights were canceled yesterday, and about 12% have been canceled today. So again, one runway up and running. Flights have been taking off. It's just going to be a little bit slower than normal.
And if you've ever looked at SDF on a map, you'll notice that the western runway is longer than the eastern runway. And from the work I've done on noise around the airport, I've found out throughout the years that UPS majorly uses the western runway as opposed to the eastern runway. So for them to say that they have one runway open instead of 2, they're really only able probably to do about 30 to 40% maybe of all their flights, because you're talking about the runway that UPS most often prefers because it's longer.
Right.
That is the one that's out of service.
Focus investigative reporter Travis Breese has been looking into the maintenance history of the UPS MD-11 aircraft that crashed yesterday.
Travis, this jet was put into service in 1991. You've been learning a lot about it, just its recent history.
Well, there's a lot to look into just over the last 2 months or so. So according to the website FlightAware, this plane was 2 hours and 2 minutes late departing SDF yesterday. No reason listed. Also, FlightAware says that this aircraft was recently grounded for 6 weeks, possibly for major maintenance. Is this going to be an event that aviation lawyers and people in this industry are going to be talking about for decades to come?
Yes. It is a defining seminal event like some of the other major commercial airline crashes.
A crash that will go down in Louisville history will also go down in aviation history as a major catastrophic event. Lad Sanger is an aviation lawyer based in Texas. He's been looking at the crash, including this video that shows a fire starting on the left wing during takeoff.
The engine fell off, the airplane's on fire, and then it appears that for some reason, whether it's FOD, probably, which is foreign object damage from the fire, that the center engine, the number 2 engine, started failing. That's the one in the tail. And that then left the airplane irreparably crippled. Heavy airplane with one engine, and there was nothing left for the flight crew to do.
Sanger and other experts are questioning the maintenance history of this plane. The website FlightAware says this plane was 2 hours and 2 minutes late departing Tuesday. Todd Inman with the NTSB says it was not delayed due to maintenance.
UPS has indicated to us that it was not delayed and that there was not maintenance work done immediately before. Now, again, that is information that we will still collaborate and independently verify.
FlightAware also shows this plane was grounded in San Antonio for 6 weeks from September 3rd to October 18th, 2025.
San Antonio is a place where airliners, there's a number of facilities there that do heavy maintenance on them.
We asked UPS if the plane underwent engine maintenance in San Antonio. The company has not responded yet.
There needs to be investigation into that and the subsequent maintenance that was done.
Sanger says at this point, there's no indication the pilots did anything wrong, and more will be revealed when investigators hear the conversations in the cockpit.
And as Morgan McGarvey said here, we might have a preliminary report in about 30 days or so has been generally their procedure.
Yeah, I think that's how they do it.
All right, and Travis, FlightAware, tell us about that. It's a pretty reliable source, correct?
Yes, it's not a government-owned source, but for people who work in aviation, they track flights on FlightAware all the time. It is considered an extremely reliable source to people in the industry.
All right.
Travis,
thank you very much. New reporting here today. You know, we told you yesterday that the UPS cargo jet that crashed was on the ground for 6 weeks in San Antonio very recently.
And today, our Focus reporter Travis Breese confirmed the plane had major maintenance during this time. Travis?
That's right, Connie and Doug. According to an FAA database, a carrier, which was likely UPS, filled out 3 reports of maintenance done to this plane between September 4th and October 1st. According to FlightAware, this plane landed in San Antonio on September 3rd. From September 3rd to October 18th, the plane made 0 flights. New records from an FAA database show crews worked on major structural pieces of the plane in its fuselage. They found cracks and corrosion. On October 18th, this plane went back in service. It completed 28 successful flights between that date and the crash date on November 4th, including 2 previous flights on November 4th. The plane's final flight was scheduled to depart at 3 p.m. FlightAware says it was 2 hours and 2 minutes late for an unknown reason. I spoke with an aviation lawyer about the work in San Antonio. This is what he said.
The work that we're seeing here, corrosion, cracks, if they're present in the main structure of the airplane, I would expect that it would be reasonable to assume that there could be some in the wings because the wings flex.
The carrier who filled out these maintenance forms did not mark what the remedy was to complete the repairs. However, Sanger says the plane must have been marked as airworthy because it completed 28 successful flights after leaving San Antonio before the tragic crash on Tuesday. I also want to correct something I said yesterday. I said this plane was grounded in San Antonio for 6 weeks. I should have said that this plane was on the ground, and we now know that it was for maintenance. In the studio, Travis Breese, WHAS 11 on your side.